It can be really difficult to recover from the loss of a relationship with somebody who you previously appreciated and cared about, especially when the relationship all of a sudden goes south in an unexpected way. And with that, perhaps you think the person wasn't who they portrayed themselves to be at the beginning. When it comes to toxic individuals like narcissists, it's really easy to get enveloped by the whole idea of feeling angry, feeling like there was some kind of injustice done towards you, all kinds of other negative feelings because maybe you felt misled by the person. Maybe you don't understand why the person would have misled you and portrayed themselves to be somebody, something who they clearly weren't in retrospect. All the feelings that come with that can make it very difficult for your mind to kind of move forward and just get out of that dark cloud that kind of holds you down. But something that's important to realize is your own your own well-being, your own healing, your own forward movement. It really just depends on you. If you are dealing with a narcissistic personality, if you are dealing with somebody who doesn't have the ability to have compassion and empathy, somebody who doesn't have the ability to care about other people, if you are dealing with somebody whose philosophy of life is pretending to be something as good as they can until they get what they want, and then try to manipulate things further until they end up pushing people away. Because in a way, that's what narcissists do. They put on that fake persona, the fake facade to draw people in. And then once people are all in, they can manipulate, push, pull, do all kinds of things to get the supply they need. When you're dealing with that kind of personality, you can't expect them to be honest. You can't expect certain people to be personalities that you can take at face value. You can't expect everybody to care about you, even if they say they do. Once you accept, and again, this goes back to your own healing, and it's in your interest to to kind of grow that wisdom and that understanding. Once you accept that people are going to be who they're going to be, and there's nothing you can do to change them, and it's not your job to change them. Just like it's not their job to change you, it's not your job to change others. Once you accept that, and you accept that your job is to try to be as happy as you can be, your job is to go out and live the life that you want. If there's certain things that bother you or certain people that bother you and you can't change them, then you have to change your perspective about how you see them. Accept them for who they are, but also accept that people like that maybe don't really deserve an important place in your life. Just like you don't want to judge a fish by how fast it can run, or you know, some land animal, maybe a deer, by how fast it can swim. You can't expect the narcissist to have true, sincere, caring feelings about you if they don't have the ability to do it. It's not part of their constitution. Throughout the course of their lives, whatever happened to the narcissist that turned them into a narcissist, whether it was societal, family factors, whatever it was that caused those people, or your ex-narcissist, for example, to become the person they were, that's deeply, deeply, deeply embedded into their personality, into who they now are. They know no other way of living. When you try to force or expect people like that to be truly, sincerely decent, caring, you are expecting the impossible. But at the same time, it's easy to understand why it can be difficult to accept that certain people are who they are. It's difficult for us to accept that some people don't think like us, that maybe not everybody has other people's best interests at heart. But it's not your job to try to want to change that and fix those people. It's the people fixing tendency that you may have had, or the people pleasing tendency that you may have had, which would have caused you to become prey for these types of personalities to start off with. And once you realize that, it's important sometimes to go through one or two encounters with toxic people to learn important things about people, humanity, and yourself. But the problem is when you don't want to take the lessons, when you don't want to accept that, if somebody's constantly through their actions and behavior showing you their true colors, but you don't want to see their true colors, or you don't want to accept their true colors, you're forever going to be miserable. You're allowing yourself to be held hostage to them. But once you accept that and realize, you know what, they do them, I do me, and then you release that. You forgive yourself. If you've been blaming yourself for being fooled, well, then you can forgive yourself. You take this new understanding with you, and you go out and try to live the life you want. And importantly, you need to understand that most toxic people, they actually don't physically and they don't always actively want to go out and harm people. They just know no other way. While they don't always necessarily want to harm people, they end up needing to harm people to feel better about themselves. It's just who they are. It's just the way they're wired, the way they need to get a sense of superiority over others to feel relief against their own inner pain. Certain people suffer so much inside themselves that they can't help but project it outwards. And it makes sense. If somebody's got so much negativity inside, you can't expect them to broadcast positivity. And if that's what you're expecting, then you have unrealistic expectations. If somebody's got a tremendous amount of inner turmoil that they don't know how to deal with, how can you expect that person to be broadcasting positivity to you, sincerity to you? It's just not the way things work. And it's not your job to fix them. As you live and learn, you need to accept certain people for who they are. And then it's your job to think, do I want them in my life or not? And then if the answer is no, you let them go. And if you've suffered a lot after somebody's left your life, maybe a relationship broke apart, instead of dwelling forever or for a long, long time in the confusion around it, the injustice of it, the anger, if you accept that those people couldn't do better if they tried, they just don't know how to. It's who they are. Certain life events may have taken them to where they are. Then you can kind of forgive yourself, forgive them, and then keep them at a distance. And once you accept that, you've acquired a lot of knowledge, and you can take that forward with you. You can identify which people are healthy and which people are not healthy for you much more easily. So that as you meet people throughout your life, in whatever setting, there's so many settings you meet people, and a lot of them you can't avoid. You can quickly make a mental note, like, this person, I'm going to keep it cordial, polite, very superficial. This person seems a bit sincere. Maybe I'll give this person a chance at being a bit closer to. You can quickly think which people will serve what purpose in your life going forward. But what you don't want to do is be completely and fully open, giving yourself fully to everybody, assuming that everybody has your best interest in mind, and that everybody will be caring and understanding about the things you say, even the things that may be vulnerable about yourself that you share. You can't always assume that everybody's going to be reasonable with what you share. Some people will use certain things against you. So it's all very empowering once you accept that some people you can't change. You forgive yourself for being fooled and for maybe you spent 20 or 30 years trying to change people or wanting people to be different. Once you give up that struggle, once you give up the fight of trying to change others, you're actually changing yourself, which is you're accepting that which you cannot change, and you're accepting that you're going to take the next step now to influence the life of the only person who you really can influence, which is yourself. So often we fall into the trap of wanting to change other people, but we don't want to change ourselves in a sense that we don't want to accept them for who they are. Because that involves you changing your own perceptions, which is you think people should be changeable. It's like, no, let people be, because certain people will just bring you down if you try to force any change in them. And just realize that with this whole acceptance and with this whole letting go and understanding, and then being more insightful and more enlightened with how you carry yourself going forwards, you can live such a better life if you go down that path.